Alright guys, what's going on everybody? Just wanted to show you, like I said in my last video, I'm actually getting into polishing and finishing the receiver on my little shotgun project, and I have already sanded it down using the various grits of sandpaper, but just kind of wanted to show you my way of polishing stuff out. Like I know there's 1,000,001 videos on YouTube that actually show people how to polish metal, but I'm just going to kind of show you my way of doing it. Of course, this side, as you can see, still sanded down. Now I have finished, or excuse me, started on the other side, and you can tell it's got a little bit more shine to it. Not too bad for some, metal that's pretty old, but do the best with it. But I'm still not done with it. As you can tell, there's still some imperfections in there, and like I said before in my update video, I can't help to get all of them out without ruining some of the, ruin some of the metals. I'm not going to do that, but as you can tell, it's got a pretty good shine to it. I'm pretty pleased with it, but I've still got some more work to do with it. But just kind of give you an idea of how I start out once I get it good and sanded down, and how I go about doing it. But unfortunately, like I said in my video, it's best to have some jeweler's rouge. I am out. I used the last little bitty piece I had from a huge block that I originally got on this last side of here. So what we're going to use is actually the polishing compound that Dremel actually gives you with their kits. Of course, it starts out as a little block like this, but all I have left from that block is these two little pieces from the first block I've had. So what we'll do is we'll use these, and like I said, I'm not going to subject you guys to listen to my Dremel run for 20 minutes. So we'll try to keep this video short and sweet. So what I'm going to do is actually get some of this compound on the just a pad here, and some of it on the receiver, and we'll be back in just 1 second. Alright guys, I've got some of the compound worked into the metal a little bit here, and what I do is I just at a real slow speed work this compound down into the metal, just at a real slow speed on the Dremel. I don't want to get it too fast yet, but I just kind of gently work it in, just kind of get a good layer of it. And guys, if you've never done this before, make sure you got an area you don't mind getting dirty, because this stuff will sling everywhere. But as you can tell, I kind of just like working it in side to side, just depending on kind of area I'm working on, and just get a good cover. And what I will do is slowly I will speed the Dremel up, and any type of compound, if you guys are familiar with, you guys have chrome rims that polish them, or polish aluminum wheels in your car, you use mothers or any kind of metal polish, you notice once you start using it, it starts turning black, and that's actually bringing the imperfections and the dirt and grime and everything to the surface, and that's actually what gets it back to shining good. Same thing with compound. Once you start actually, getting it good and worked in, it's going to start bringing that imperfections out, or those imperfections, excuse me, and actually start bringing everything to the surface that you can wipe off and clean. So I'll just kind of run this for a minute and let you see how I go about doing it. Like I say, I'm not going to subject you to listen to my Dremel run, and we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. Alright guys, brought you in a little closer. That's why I stopped off that time, just to kind of get the camera in a little closer. But as you can see, I've started working some of the compound in pretty good, and with like I said, with these compounds, you want them to start seeing, turn a little black, and that's just bringing the imperfections and the dirt out to the surface, and actually start bringing those out. But I'm going to work this here for you just a little quick second, and let you see what's going on, and we'll just slowly step up the speed of the Dremel. And guys, you don't want to put too much pressure on the Dremel head. Just if you actually put too much pressure, it's actually going to start wiping it back off. And of course, you don't want to dig in with anything like this. You just want to give it its time and let the compound do what it's designed to do, and just bring all the imperfections back out. Alright guys, we got the compound worked in pretty good, and as you can see, some of it start actually coming back off when it dries off. So now what we're going to do is actually remove this compound before we go to the next step, which is going to actually be using some just regular Mother's aluminum polish, and see what we can bring out on it. But like I say, guys, you can kind of tell when you start getting to where it's going to start clearing up a little bit and get that haziness out of it. And that's when you want to go ahead and take it off, see how far you've got before you go much any further. So we're going to put a little new pad on here. These little center pads I like to use actually for removing the polish. And actually the smaller ones putting them on. So do this for a quick sec, kind of give you guys an idea how I do this. Again, guys, I'm no professional at this. I have done this in the past on some things, like I said, on my motorcycles and some for friends that have things that they wanted polished out. But this is just my way. Like I said, by no means am I professional. This is just my way of doing it. So again, guys, we'll slowly step the Dremel up. Now that we've got the compound off, kind of get an idea. You can see it's got a little bit of shine to it. You know, got a good reflective quality to it, but, you know, nothing that we, or not that I'm real happy with. You know, some people stop here and say, okay, you know, it's good. Well, like I said in the last video, I'm kind of weird about stuff like this. I like for it to be, you know, I want it to be able to see yourself and I want to be able to brush your teeth in it. So we'll go to the next step, which is the what I like to use is just regular Mother's Magnum aluminum polish, and you know, any kind of metal polish will usually work. But what I'll actually do is take some of this on my finger and, you know, just kind of spread it around. And again, guys, this is one of those things when you start using it. Most of you guys have used Mother's polish at one point in time in your life on something. You know, you'll start seeing it turn black, and you can wipe it off or remove it with a pad. Some people just, you know, some people will do this by hand. I'll do the first couple of times I do this with the Dremel, and then I may polish it 6-8 times by hand, just, you know, to get those final steps in real good and wiped off real good. And like I said, the more you do this, of course, the better it's going to look. So we'll do a little bit of this and see what we can do as far as getting it shining really good. So put one of my other pads back on here. I believe that one finally bit the dust, so we'll put another one on. And again, guys, if this stuff starts, you know, if you start seeing where it's getting a dry spot, stop, put a little bit more on there, and keep going. Of course, it's not going to do any good for you just to take this bare pad and rub it on the metal with nothing between it. Alright, now that we got that worked in a little bit, just kind of let that set a little bit. And what I usually like to do is kind of let that get like you do, say if you're waxing your car, you know, you put that first layer of wax on, you let it haze over a little bit. What I'm going to do is let this haze over. But one thing I forgot to mention, guys, of course, knowing me, I would. Anytime, you know, friction causes heat. So, you know, when you start doing any kind of metal polishing work, especially on something that's small, it's going to heat up real quick. And of course, you don't want it to get too hot because we don't want to, you know, I would hope that it would never get hot enough to warp the metal. But, you know, it will get hot and actually start being hot to touch, and sometimes it even get hot enough where it can't touch. And right now it's warmed up a little bit, so we're going to let it sit. But if you can kind of tell as I was working that in, some of it started coming out. We got to get a little bit of shine going on there. So we'll see what the rest of it looks like when we start pulling it off. But again, guys, we're just going to swap out pads to one, you know, one of the little narrow ones with this a little cleaner. We'll just start taking some of this material back off and see what kind of shine we can get out of it. So again, guys, nothing new here. You've seen this before, so. Alright, guys, sometimes, you know, if you let that sit too long, which has happened here, it does kind of get hard to get off, and you kind of see I can take my thumb and wipe it off. So we're just going to take a rag, start kind of getting the majority of it off. And again, guys, I said I'm real picky on, you know, metal finishing and stuff like that. You know, it just all depends on how shiny you want it. If I take the time to do something like this, and it's something nicer like this, and, you know, I won't, you know, this gun's probably going to get used, but, you know, nothing, you know, not a terrible amount. You know, it's more or less going to be just, you know, some eye candy sitting there and say, hey, you know, I kind of redid that gun. It looked like crap when I started out. Hey, look what it looks like now. So it's probably going to get more, fondled and looked at than anything. So we're going to put a good shine on it, kind of get some googly eyes when people look at it to think that it, used to look like that. So that's just after the first step. You can kind of tell it's cleared up a good bit, kind of see the camera there in the reflection. So like I said, guys, I may do this 6, 7, 8, 10 more times, just depending on how much of a shine I want to get out. And of course, you can see here, right there's what we started out with. The bottom half here has not been done. You can kind of see there's no reflective quality to it at all. That's a little better. So, and then of course, the side we just kind of got finished with. And of course, now that I've handled and got my fingerprints all over it, of course, both sides are dirty again, guys. But I just kind of want to give you an idea how I go about doing it, and my way of doing it. So again, guys, just working on a little project here. Hopefully, we'll have her looking good and back together soon. I'm not going to be in a rush with this. This is just kind of something I do when I have a few extra minutes in the day. I'll sit down and kind of tinker with this and play around with it. But again, guys, hope wherever you're at, you're having a good day. And heck, leave some questions, comments. You got any kind of questions about some of the stuff I use or how I did it. So you guys take care, and we'll talk to you later.